You're listening to Linux News Log, separating the Linux and open source signal from the noise.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Petaluma, California, here in Studio MC2 at QuickSurf Internet Studios. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech gets here, do feel free to head on over to techpodcast.com and check out all the other technology-related shows over there as well. I'd like to encourage everybody to visit us online over at quicksurf.com. Please do subscribe to the show if you have not already done so. You can catch us over at YouTube, blip.tv, Dailymotion, as well as Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com, and on our website directly, you can subscribe to an Ogg Vorbis feed, an MP3 feed, and an H.264 video feed that's compatible with a wide variety of devices. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the news for this episode, starting off over at ZDNet. The new Debian Linux 7.0 is now available. That's right. Debian Linux doesn't get all the attention it once did, but as the foundation for other, more popular Linux distributions such as Mint and Ubuntu, the release of a new major Debian version 7.0, aka Wheezy, is still a big deal in Linux development circles. I agree. I'm a huge fan of Ubuntu, but knowing that it comes from Debian, Debian is really more of a, a core base operating system that leaves a lot not configured necessarily. So basically just makes it easier to build other distributions on top of it. But still, nonetheless, pretty cool. There's a nice big poster, keep calm and install Wheezy. So I'll definitely be checking it out here on a virtual machine in the not too distant future. From Forbes, Portal and Left 4 Dead 2 have arrived on Linux. That is correct. Until recently, Linux users were the most unloved members of the gaming world. But back on February 14th, they received the best Valentine's Day present ever. Steam. That's right. The download service for a veritable smorgasbord of video games. Steam games could be played only on a PC running Windows and occasionally a Mac. Well, now one of the best games, in the humble opinion of the contributor here, on any platform, is about to become one of the best games for Linux. So Valve has released a native Linux beta for its first-person puzzler Portal. Left 4 Dead 2 is also available for those of you who want to play either one of those. Definitely check it out. From lilyputing.com, the BeagleBone Black is a $45 Android Linux computer and hardware prototyping board. That's right. This is pretty neat. There's a new player in the low-cost ARM-based mini computer space. The BeagleBone Black is a $45 device which can run on Linux or Android software and which can be used as a bare-bones computer or as the brains of a hardware project such as a robot. Pretty neat. Home automation system, lots more. Basically, it is a near direct competitor to the Raspberry Pi. The one thing that I wish that they would include on such a device is a SATA port. Just need one. A SATA port would be awfully nice. Alas, there is not one. So unfortunately, if you want to do anything of that nature, it has to be through USB. So, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Definitely check it out if you're into, Raspberry Pi and that sort of thing. BeagleBone makes a fine alternative. From ZDNet, Linux 3.9 kernel release offers SSD caching and server performance improvements. The latest version of the Linux kernel has been released, bringing with it support for SSD caching. And for those of you who run server workloads, you get a nice little performance boost. The 3.9 release has been made available by Linus Torvalds today. It offers various performance enhancements. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, not today. The story is April 29th, so it was last week, but still, nonetheless, made available by Linus Torvalds on Sunday, offers various performance and new features and additional driver support. So you get SSD caching, server performance changes, power consumption. The kernel now supports a lightweight suspend, which is pretty neat. That's reported to allow some phones and tablets to consume almost as little power when they're put into a deeper and less responsive suspended RAM state. Rapid support the B-tree file system. The BTRF has a new redundant array of inexpensive disk support, or otherwise known as RAID. Virtualization, graphics drivers, networking, all around, everything kind of gets upgraded. So definitely check it out by all means. From techradar.com, how to stream files from a Raspberry Pi to a smartphone. The best thing about Raspberry Pi is that besides being an excellent educational device, it can now double up as a very capable headless server. Now, even more so with the increased memory. Contrary to popular belief, not every server task requires lots of processing power. For example, if you wish to download files and share them with users on the network, irrespective of their operating system or device, you don't need a machine with a multi-core processor. In fact, using an old Linux computer, such as a seed box, is a popular way of rescuing discarded hardware. So this is pretty neat. They're going to use this how-to uses revision 2 of the Raspberry Pi with 512 megs of RAM, but you should be able to get it to work on older versions. Definitely check this out if this is something you're looking into doing. From PR Web, Roboteq launches a Raspberry Pi-based robot navigation computer project on Kickstarter. I thought this was pretty neat. Roboteq, over at Roboteq.com, launched a Kickstarter project named Rio, which is Raspberry I/O, and it's aimed at creating an intelligent I/O card that stacks over the $35 Raspberry Pi single-board computer. The Rio card includes a rich set of I/O and connectivity features. The card can also be fitted with an optional ARHS module, including a 3-axis accelerometer, 3-axis gyroscope, 3-axis magnetometer, and a fusion algorithm for precise altitude and heading measurements. So pretty interesting. I'm curious to see how well this would work for navigation. Should be pretty cool. From the H Open, font boost for Linux from Adobe and Google. That's right, the free type font rendering engine has been enhanced with a new rasterizer for compact font format fonts. It's contributed to FreeType by Adobe and Google. The new rasterizer details were included in the latest changes for the beta version 2.4.12 of FreeType. The new engine is said to be vastly superior to the old CFF engine and will replace it in the next release, meaning for the Linux distributions that use this, your fonts should start to look better, at least for the FreeType fonts. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. That will do it for this edition of Linux News Log. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. You can find those online over at quicksurf.com. Please do subscribe to the show if you haven't already done so. You can shoot me an email, linux@quicksurf.com. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. See you then. Bye.